My friends, if you know me, you do know well I love creating explosion boxes. So I could not start this presentation from showing you one of my boxes. But because we are very limited with the time, I've decided to focus this video only on showing you the dressing up stage of me creating this explosion box. I am focusing on showing you my design papers and all the other elements of the collection. And if you would like to see full step-by-step tutorial on creating the base for the explosion box, you can visit me on my YouTube channel where I will have this video in a full version, or you can also visit me on my expert page on the craft world where I will put down the article with this explosion box with all the measurements and template which you can save and use for future reference. For dressing up my box, I've decided to use some papers and I've used the flowery design on the outside portion, and for the inside portion of the explosion box I am using this spotted background paper. This is not the dots, this is actually the little flowers, and there is so much going on these papers. If you look closely, there is plenty of texture, there's plenty of different elements mixed to the papers, and that if you're a busy crafter, if you don't have the time to enhance your papers, you can still use them plain and they're not gonna be looking boring because there's a lot already happening on the paper. But please feel free to experiment further down. Use your stencil, use your inks, stamps. You can do whatever you like with the paper, but my goal when I was designing them was something to be quick and easy and fun to use and will not necessarily require to have 100 steps to add that extra interest and texture to the paper because it's already there. Now, one more thing I wish to say, because I am creating a lot of the explosion boxes, I also love creating the slimline and DL size cards. I was making sure that the pocket and the circle die, when I was designing them, they will fit those cards I am creating. And for the pocket die, you can see here there's a little three flaps which once you glue them down, they create this perfect pocket which will serve you as a place to put your money, to put your voucher, gift card, whatever it is. If you would like to add this little space for a gift, or maybe RSVP card if you're creating some invitation, that will be a perfect use for this die. I also have this circular die which is also designed so it will fit a DL size card or the explosion box, and all this dies in the sets, they are multi-layered. All the elements of the die are detachable. You can create the border cat on its own. You can use the lacy extra element. It's up to yourself how you want to use those dies, because I knew that if I will have a chance to design my collection, I want to make sure that all elements are versatile. You can mix and match. You can easily create the shadow effect for your elements. So for that, all the dies coming apart, like there's no one border die, but there's a couple elements you can use to create them, so that will give you a lot more possibilities in your creations. Now, for my box, I cut like one pocket on one side and then the circular die on the other side, and then for two remaining flaps I've decided to dress them with some same paper which I've used on the outside portion of the explosion box. This is my technique of making everything look cohesive and matching together. I'm always trying to bring a little bit of the paper I have from the outside into the inside portion, and then the same way what I have on those four sides, this design paper with this little like a dotted pattern made from those tiny flowers, I will use the piece of the same pattern paper on the top of my lid for the explosion box. And as you can see here, because all the dice come in is they are separate, you can easily do the shadow effect. And what I did here with the white paper, this will help you to make your die, this lacy pattern, even more standing out. And one more thing I wish to say about the dice, all the border dice are open-ended, which means that they are not necessarily the 4 inches length. You can extend them. So if you need to use them for the bigger card, which is like 5 inches, 8 inches, you can easily just cut it once, then attach the die in the continuation pattern, and you can cut the strips as long as you wish, because they are open-ended on both ends, so you can mix and match and do so many various things with them. I've stamped the sentiment. I'm using the extra flowers which are coming on this A4 size paper pad. There's 4 pages filled with the flowers and leaves which you can cut, and then there you will have something easy to go on for a quick creations. If you would like to dress up your card, you have the flowery elements to glue your compositions. I am adding them with the help of the hot glue and couple to the central piece, then couple extra on the sides where I have this pocket and this little circle with this best wishes sentiment which I've stamped. And that's basically making the box very easy and quick to do, because all the elements are here and you just have to put it all together. So this is gonna be the inside portion of my box, and then I'm gonna be proceeding with the lid. And as I've mentioned before, I am using the same background paper which I've used for the flaps on the inside of the box, and then I will use the flowery design for this little narrow sides of the top lid of my explosion box. One more thing I want to tell you, my friends, if you are creating explosion box and you would like to dress up the lid, always make sure you're gonna be dress it up with your papers before you will put it up together. Once you glue your lid together, it will be much harder to glue this strips, this rectangular pieces of the paper straight. So it's always easier to work on a flat surface. And as you can see here, I am not measuring anything. I'm just putting down the piece of paper and mark myself some little dots with the pencil. And for me, this is the best technique, because I don't have to remember all the measurements. Plus, if I will create my base slightly teeny tiny bit uneven or something, with the pencil marks, I am always having the perfect result for this little rectangulars. It's just like eyeballing is the best technique for me to use, and it's much quicker and also easier to do. And here you can see the box just fit perfectly. I'm putting the lid on, and I will finish it by adding the same couple extra flowers which I've used for the centerpiece of the inside portion of my explosion box. And if I'm adding them with the hot glue, and I just wanted to add something extra, so I am reaching for the couple of the stamps, and I will be stamping them on this little extra tag which is included in the set. In the circle and border die set, you have this little extra tab which is just perfect as a gift tag, or this final piece to add some extra sentiment to your card. And it has this beautiful lacy design which is the same throughout the dice, so all the elements from the dice, they mix and match perfectly. So I'm stamping the For You sentiment, and I'm gonna add the tag to the top lid of my explosion box. So that will be my first inspiration. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it already sparks some ideas in your head on what you can do with the papers, what you can do with the dice and all the other elements in the collection. So here are a couple of the close-up look on the box, and I will see you shortly on the second inspiration.